Hey everybody, I'm Psychroclasm. I'm taking a break from working on my office. I was a bad boy and didn't put up my foam the right way, so we're probably going to be playing a game of how many foam tiles can fall off your wall. Because I was dumb and I couldn't find my glue gun, so I didn't build panels like you're supposed to. And I just double-sided taped them to my wall, so now they're all falling off. So, until I find my glue gun, there are probably going to be tiles falling down the middle of this. But I played a game a couple of weeks ago called Oh No, There's a Dinosaur in Your Bathroom, the game. And I said that one day I would get all of the medals for the endings, and I have done that. And I could just show you the true ending, but I'm not going to do that. So I took notes. Hang on. There we go. I took notes on how to get to each ending because I knew I wouldn't remember because all my stuff arrived. Oh, that one that's right behind my head is gonna fall. Ah, fuck. Whatever. I also haven't got the lighting set up quite yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna be happy with this as it is, but we'll see as we go along and as I edit it. I keep forgetting you're up here now instead of down there. Alright. So our first option is to commit seppuku all the way until we... Well, I'll show you when we get there. Alright. Jump into the bathtub. And then commit seppuku. Unable to see any route through which you can escape the nightmare, you resort to ritual suicide. Sadly, though, you find yourself without a sword to perform the ritual. So instead, you close your eyes, furrow your brow, bunch your muscles, and let out a great scream, hoping that the buildup of pressure will cause your blood cells to detonate, tearing you apart, along with the apartment and the dinosaur. But aside from inspiring a peaceful... But aside from inspiring a powerful, furious erection, nothing seems to be happening. What are you going to do now? Will continuing to attempt explosion cause you to projectile urinate everywhere? Will it give you the send-off you've wanted for the last 10 seconds? Or perhaps you could try something else. Continue trying to explode. You've come too far to stop now. You envision yourself exploding. You close your eyes and clench your buttocks. You shake like a constipated Super Saiyan sporting a constipated Super Saiyan sporting a dad bod and let out another scream. When you open your eyes, your arteries aren't bursting, your brain isn't exploding out of your head. You didn't even spray urine in the Coelophysis' eyes. What a disaster. You can continue trying to blow yourself, or get back and find an actual solution to the dinosaur problem. Continue trying to explode. Even your angry rod can only hoist itself for so long. It shrivels back into a grumbling slug as your frail muscles grow tired and limp. No matter how much you want to explode yourself all over the walls, it seems like this atomic ending isn't going to happen for you. As your mother always used to say about you, another day, another disappointment. Explode in a shower of gore. You explode. The effect is like that of a particularly violent fart. A fart of blood, shredded bones and guts that tears apart the bathroom, and the apartment and the building. Your apartment block collapses a few minutes later, its supports broken by the tremendous power of your fart explosion. I did play through these, but it was more of like a click until you get there kind of thing, because I didn't want to spoil them for myself. Like, I built this list based on the results. I didn't data mine it or anything, so these are all new to me. All over the news the next day is an outdated, unflattering MySpace photo of the terrorist Merkel Sausage, that's you in case you didn't know, who has destroyed a posh apartment block in the outskirts of inner London. Yet there are no casualties. Why? Because of course the hero Coelophysis saves them all. It digs women and children from the wreckage, it shields babies from tumbling masonry, and gives the kiss of life to injured puppies. The Coelophysis becomes a national hero, an icon, and soon after Harley Coleman contacts her, a beloved memoirist. You know all this because the Coelophysis also saved you, transporting your giblets on ice to the nearest hospital and personally performing reconstructive surgery when the doctors refused to operate on you. Of course, the surgery couldn't do everything. You're still more of a moist pile of meat chunks, somehow reconstituted into a conscious being. You can't speak or move, and you're developing bed sores everywhere, but at least you can feel pain. Besides the people who come to spit on you, such as people injured by your explosion or your family, your only visitor is the Coelophysis. She likes to sit beside you and reminisce about the good times days ago in that bathroom. Each time she visits, you wordlessly beg her to $1 million baby you. Each time you do, she stops. She smiles, and then she slowly leaves and vanishes until her next return. After one final visit, before her fame takes her to Hollywood, she confides in you. I think I know, well, in my memoir now, I think we can only know the life given to us, and that we should be grateful for whatever life that is. Because this life is all we've got, so thank you, Merkel Sausage. Thank you for everything. And she leaves. You try to be appreciative, your bed sore's burning once more as your doctor walks over to the bed. He bends over double, coughs a hacking stream of phlegm into a tissue, and eventually stands up straight before he takes the tissue and wipes it across your face. The doctor leans down to you and mutters, "I got that illness from my daughter on purpose, just so I could give it to you." And then he starts to let the rest of your well-wishers in, who are ready to spit in your face once more. You win? If that is indeed a win. That is one of my favorite things about this so far, is that the wins are quite a bit more horrible than the losses tend to be. Let's see if we can't notch that down a little bit. I see I'm redlining it occasionally. Alright, our next on the list is to fill the bath all the way. I think that is the one I actually got while we were playing. So, jump into the bathtub. Look to the bathtub. Look to the hairy bath hole. And fill the bath. Alright, you get the bath going. Good idea. Dinosaurs can't even swim. On the other hand, the bath is now filling very slowly. And how long do you really have? It can only be so long before the dinosaur breaks the thin rubber of your curtain and spills uninvited into your special shower place. Not unlike your father's rugby team, numerous times through your teenage years. Wait, wasn't it the choir before? Maybe there was an update that fixed the overlapping text. I know that much. Keep filling the bath. The bath continues to fill very slowly. You stare at the water now soaking the pants around your ankles. You focus all your efforts on watching the bathtub fill drip by painful drip. I remember now, when I was playing, I stopped and turned on the shower. In the meantime, a Coelophysis wanders around your bathroom. It is at once more grounded and more beautiful than any concept of a dinosaur could manage. Its every twitch a miracle that shouldn't exist. Instead of taking a single glance at this majesty of nature, you're watching water fill the bottom of your pale bathtub, which sums you up to a very sad tea. Putting your sad priorities aside for a moment, if you felt like stopping this and trying something else, you could. Or you could continue to stare at the tap, like an overbearing father might as he watches his son attempt to do stepovers in the back garden before tackling the child to show him what real football is. Continue to watch the bath fill. The water tumbles into the bath under your glare, and you think how best to write a verbal assault of the maintenance man about the water pressure. Judging by the spittle coming from your tap, he or she clearly wasn't spanked enough as a child. Then again, you were spanked 1,275 times as a child, plus 4 times in your 20s. You don't know anything about plumbing, thus you are no longer convinced by your mother's teaching methods. As water tumbles out of the tap at a sedate rate, your blood pressure rises. You think that probably every flat in the building has better water pressure than you, and perhaps the maintenance man has sabotaged your taps for just such a situation as this. Not necessarily the appearance of a dinosaur, but certainly another large predator. Perhaps a Bengal tiger. Selfish bastard, you think, picturing the maintenance man's punchable, possibly elderly face. If you want something done right, you realize you'll have to do it yourself, plumbing knowledge or no. Keep waiting for the bath to fill. So taking the situation into your own hands, you decide to wait for the bathtub to fill. It's so nearly halfway full. When it's completely full, you can hide beneath the water from the dinosaur, extending your life by several dozen seconds, perhaps possibly even forever. You can become an underwater king, you think. You can rule over the half-full bathtub like a god. Then the Coelophysis pokes the shower curtain with its head. With a yelp, you plunge beneath what little water you have in the bath, and now all you can do is remain still and preserve your precious little oxygen. Now this may not seem like the sensible thing to do. It may seem like doing anything else. Fighting the dinosaur, hoping it has a heart attack, or even wrapping it in the shower curtain would be a wiser decision. But deep down, you know that this is the only true option, because this is the only option you're being given. You're gonna drown, and you're gonna like it. You close your eyes and you try to think of the good times before either the dinosaur gets you or the oxygen deprivation does. You remember that time when you and Stephanie went to see your favorite movie, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen? You got to spend 2 hours explaining to Stephanie how much you love Megan Fox, but now those times are gone and your lungs are burning. And unable to will yourself to lie there and drown, you burst out of the water, ready to die. There is no Coelophysis above you, and looking around, you see no Coelophysis in the bathroom. Your scheme worked. You dance around the bathroom, oil yourself with your hair products, and other things. The dinosaur is gone. You don't care where it's gone. You're gonna live. About 15 minutes of enjoying your newfound life passes before you go to work. Oh, I did. This is the one I did. This is the one I got while I was playing. You realize the door's been jammed shut. You try to wrench the door open, try to pick the lock using toothbrush, and try to slide under the door. None of these work. Your phone is inexplicably gone. No one can hear you, and your silent pleas to the office workers across the street go unanswered. It suddenly occurs to you that they didn't appreciate you mooning them, or the other things they put a restraining order on you for. With nobody to call for help, all you can do is bang on the bathroom door, write messages on the windows, and try and dig through the floor. None of it works. Days pass, you begin to starve. You've given up hope of rescue. Then a plate of mashed potato and seeds slides under your bathroom door. You devour it all. The food keeps coming like clockwork, morning and night. You aren't gonna not eat the food. Occasionally you go on hunger strike, but you give in quickly, weak-willed as you are, and eat what is offered. One day, the bathroom door disappears overnight, replaced by iron bars and a little hatch through which food is passed to you. Through these bars, the coelophysis feeds you. It then uses your apartment, watches TV, struts up and down like it owns the place. One night it even has dinner with your father, who pretends not to notice you. It starts to occur to you that you are now this dinosaur's pet. The more this is confirmed, the more you break in despair and cry into your tiles. Well, dinosaurs' tiles, really. One day the bars of the cage open. You try to run, but your muscles are weak and atrophied. You've done no exercise in here. The coelophysis pins you down easily with one foot. There, the dinosaur croons as it strokes what hair on your head you haven't pulled out. You're such a cutie. I'm gonna play with you and give you treats and take you on walks. As the dinosaur strokes you, you just lie there. You're too in shock at hearing the dinosaur speak to notice the person in surgeon's robes behind the coelophysis. He carries a sports bag. But we can't have you just running around. You could just run off and mate with any female nearby. Think of the cost of a litter. We'd have to give them away, and nobody wants that. In the midst of your panic, you do somewhat agree that plowing the ladies was on your breakout celebration bucket list. Nonetheless, you try and fight back as the dinosaur picks you up by the neck and pulls you into the bathroom. No, this is the best way. This way, you'll live a long and healthy life with me. You scream as the man removes his patented cock clipper, I forgot about that, from the bag, and you realize his intentions. You needn't have worried. After your penis is removed, you do live a long life, eating mashed potato and seeds, forgetting the taste of all other human things. It's over 20 years before a back alley vet, sensing that you might have arthritis, puts you to sleep. The coelophysis strokes your head as you fade away, and your depenised life finally ends. That's ending 2. Well, it's probably not ending 2, but I didn't exactly get them in order. Okay, so I was so close to winning several times. I just chose the wrong branch at the end of them. So what we're gonna do here is combine the head and shoulders. I actually mixed up the two combinations. You mix the head and shoulders and the hairball, and then you force the raptor to eat it. And then the conditioner and the hairball you keep separate. So I was so close multiple times, and I just barely missed certain things. Alright, let's look to the hair products and take the Deluxe Head and Shoulders. The Deluxe Head and Shoulders shampoo, of course. You've seen Evolution. There's no better shampoo for killing monsters, and that's before the scalpel sharp gold flakes. You fondle the bottle delicately, remembering your first night together of pain and pleasure. But now you must use it to inflict pain and death on your dinosaur foe. You could look at the bath hole, which we're gonna do. The bath hole is hairy, like a hairy cave on a hairy mountain, presumably containing some kind of horrifying bald bear suffering with PTSD because of the trauma from when somebody harvested the bear's hair in order to glue said hair to a mountaintop, in order for some hack to bloat the game with unnecessary extra lines. Yeah, they've changed a few things. If you wanted, you could pull the hair out of the plug hole. It might prove useful against the dinosaur, but it might not. You could try filling up the bath, or you can go looking at other things. Make your decision quickly, or you'll be like the dinosaurs, extinct. Pluck that plug hole of hairy hairball. You pluck the combination of sweat, water, and various classes of hair from the plug. It's beautiful, really. Oh, it's beautiful, really. Briefly, you rub it against your chest before deciding that you're risking looking weird. They did change a few things. What are you going to do with it now? You could unify the shampoo and hair like a slimy, incomplete Triforce, or you could keep the shampoo and hair separate to form two weapons. We are going to combine them into one moist, hairy ball of doom. You smear the two together and it is marvelous. It's like a wet hair sun going into a more liquidy sun to create a single liquidy wet hair sun that shines its wet hair liquidiness all over the lifeless planets in its galaxy. Forever lifeless, forever void of spark, like your soul. Anyway, now you lunge from the shower to face the dinosaur. For a moment it is caught off guard and possibly even turned on, as you would be if you saw you in this lewd state. What will you do now? Do you shove the weird mass of hair and shampoo into the raptor's mouth, or do you throw the hair thing at the dinosaur? We shove our mass into its mouth. The hesitation is all the opportunity you need. Roaring out a battle cry and feeling like you've done that too many times before for some reason, your hand strikes into the raptor's mouth and down its throat. Infuriated, the dinosaur bites at you. Skin shreds beneath the teeth, but then it cannot bite. The Coelophysis is choking, unable to get the sticky wad of hair out of its throat. You tend to your arm. You watch with mounting relief as the dinosaur gags, chokes, spasms, and falls to the dinosaur floor, to the bathroom floor. It struggles wither quickly to twitches, then nothing. The dinosaur dies in front of you as you watch on. When you're sure the dinosaur is no longer breathing, you call the police. The furor over the dinosaur incident takes nearly a month to die down. Your life in the public eye is still hell, however. At first, it's abusive language from onlookers and bitching from coworkers. At least that stops. The newspapers, at least, eventually stopped with the outrage headlines. The Express went with Monster Kills Reincarnation of Diana on one slow news day, and the Star went with Man Chokes Dinosaur to Death with his sloppy slinky, with a bikini-clad lass with a plastic raptor head on adorning the front page. But what hasn't stopped? The Coelophysis from the Triassic period, of course. Your days are spent trying to make it to the shops before the dinosaur attacks you again, back from the grave, fresh and sprightly. You have to continue fighting the dinosaur with anything you can find nearby, because you keep forgetting to go to the sword shop, and even if you did, you aren't allowed to carry it in public. And whenever you get attacked, people are just standing around going, "Ooh, look at that!" Quite like the utter bastards they are. Worse, the dinosaur keeps taking bits out of you before you kill it off. You only have 3 fingers left, and less than 1 nose. Worse still, the dinosaur keeps coming. It can be there at any time, in any place. Moreover, the more it returns, the more followers it gathers. It seemingly gathered a flock of fanatics, convinced that the Coelophysis is their new god, and I'd be inclined to agree, because it's apparently immortal. As you walk the street, you see another gang of them. You can tell because of their glassy eyes, mutilated 3-fingered hands, and Make Britain Triassic Again bobble hats. You turn to run, as those fanatics lope after you and their swimming paddles converted into dino feet. You realize that you need to flee to hide somewhere until this all blows over. But there is no hiding. They'll find you time and again. They'll mutilate you a little more, and then they'll release you again. To be hunted and maimed again, and again, and again, and again for the rest of your tortured days. I'm still a fan of the fireworks and such. Alright, so... okay. Now we're going to go for the conditioner. The half-empty bottle of chest air conditioner is your greatest friend. Too many times have you gazed upon yourself in the mirror and felt arousing feelings of glory or raw masculine power at the sight of your 3 chest hairs, shine and elegant like tiny razor-thin elongated bowling balls. What a man you are. Now you should use your newly remembered manliness to get back to the issue of defeating the dinosaur, or alternatively, continue thinking back to that time with just you, the mirror, and a bottle of chest air conditioner. We're gonna continue being aroused. It doesn't affect the story, but I just like it. I always enjoy these nights, he said. Indeed. The conditioner would probably have replied were it sentient. It was a conditioner of few words. Together you contemplated the wonder of this wonderful night, where you and chest conditioner would be smeared together once more. Yes, yes, yes. This flashback, erotic as it is, isn't really helping. Maybe you could do something more productive. With your conditioner in hand, you take stock of your options, but not before flinching as the Coelophysis' tail brushes the shower curtain. You could look at the bath hole, which we will. The bath hole is hairy. We will acquire the whole hair. Oh! Did they change this? No, I'm just gonna acquire the hair. Alright. We are going to keep them as 2 separate weapons. I suppose it depends on... oh... Yeah. 2 separate weapons. 2 weapons are better than 1, that's what they say, isn't it? That's what your grandpa would say anyway, along with other pieces of stellar advice such as, never trust a foreigner who's trying to blow up your platoon. You weren't even sure what that tidbit had to do with your school exams, a truly baffling man. In any case, you spread your arms wide, ready to catch the dinosaur in your hammer and anvil of hair and conditioner. This is a bit premature, since the dinosaur's on the other side of the shower curtain and cannot really see you, but you justify it as a pre-battle war dance, like the New Zealanders in rugby, and definitely not like A mating ritual. You spring from the shower like a large frog with the beginnings of baldness, and the raptor readies to attack. Do you swing in with a bottle of hair conditioner first, or do you lead the offensive with the wad of hair? We swing the hair. Whip around that wad. You spin in a great circle and hurl the hair at the dinosaur's face. Shards of your stale pubic hair pierce into the eyes of the dinosaur. It reels, blood streaming down its face. I'm blind, it screams. Oh, the dino-manity. That's some really sharp pubic hair. Or at least that's what you wanted to happen. In fact, the hair sails over the dinosaur's head and splats against the wall like a Boeing 747 made of hair and water might also do. In likelihood, there would be no stale pubic hair in that soggy mound anyway. Clearly, this is a poorly conceived plan. No idea why you came up with it. There's a moment of silence as the dinosaur considers how best to eat you. Raw or served with fine white and some ginger, while you consider what to do next. Do you lube yourself up and make yourself harder to grasp, or do you attack the dinosaur with the conditioner? Make your choice. Okay. We lube our supple bodies. Quickly, you tear off your remaining clothes and rub your chiseled beer belly with conditioner and everything else. As the dinosaur watches on, you become a finely moistened warrior. When you're done, you bunch your fists. The dinosaur thinks you're soft, but it underestimates you. You have stamina. You are raging hard. Does that mean, like, I am hard, or I am raging a lot? And you're gonna give this dinosaur a spanking. Okay, it's probably that I'm hard. Okay. Ah, you cry at the dinosaur. Hang on, I'm gonna test something. Ah! I put in a clip fix thing to see if I could actually stop clipping. It doesn't look like it worked. Ah, you cry at the dinosaur like Aslan with asthma. And then you charge. The following battle is ferocious and violent and prolonged, and one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you and the dinosaur are married. 4 years later, you sit at the dinner table and chew on your lamb. You keep chewing. You keep chewing because you want to look like you're eating, because you really, really don't want to talk. Sat around you at the table are your wife, the Coelophysis from the Triassic period, and 2 children, half Coelophysis, half human. They have human faces with dinosaur snouts, and 1 arm each of dinosaur and human. Eventually you have to say something, because, as always, the silence is killing you. How was tutoring, you asked to your older son? Your children cannot go to public school, not since the accident. Your oldest child is named... Psychroclasm from the Triassic period, but you can't pronounce that. It's you call him Birdie from the Triassic period. When you ask him the question, he says nothing. You suspect he hates you. You don't want to admit you hate him. You don't want to admit he disappoints you. He isn't even good at video games. He stares at you accusingly every time you beat him at FIFA and force him to play again. Eventually, your wife speaks up. We're gonna need a new tutor, she says. You've been numb to disappointment for a long time now, and so you just nod, shovel up more lamb into your mouth, and hope that the mess has been cleaned up this time. Later that night, after you put your children into bed pens and bandage your scratches, you join your wife, the Coelophysis, in bed. You read, avoiding talking to her. Nonetheless, she looks to you. Merkel, she asks, in her raspy voice, do you love me? You swallow and think about what to say. Love and divorce are both separate victories. So we will start with, I love you more than anything. I love you more than anything, you say with a smile as you grasp her long talon claw in hand with your normal, non-abominable one. For you, lying has become a reflex, just something you do to get through the evenings you spend with your family. You've been trying to start an affair with the women you can find at work, but no one wants to break up your marriage, no matter how much you say that you aren't into bestiality. You have 2 kids. You're at least a little bit into bestiality. You're lonely at work, snickered at behind your back, and you're lonelier at home with your children and your wife. And you close your book, say a quick night to your wife, and you lie down to sleep, hoping that maybe tomorrow, you'll be lucky enough to be hit by a bus. Alright, give me a second to get back to that and say we want a divorce. Alright. I want a divorce. It's what you don't say. In reality, you don't have the guts. Just like you didn't have the guts to stop the marriage train after your business in the bathroom. Just like you didn't have the guts to say no when the dinosaur wife said she wanted another baby. You've never had the guts. You smile at her and say, "Of course I love you," and kiss her on her long reptilian snout. She kisses back as she climbs on top of you. One talon scrapes your naked thigh. Sometimes you sense that she's unhappy too. Now is one of those times. She looks at you not like a husband, but a ketchup bottle to be banged until the viscous fluid comes out. "I want another baby," she says. And dead inside as you are, you just say, "Okay." So you both entangle. She rips your boxers apart. You try to be enthused. You try to think of Stephanie while remembering not to say her name again. You will be stuck with the Coelophysis forever, you realize now, as the two of you engage in cold, unfeeling, dreadful sex. Oh my god! There is an ending in here. It is not a win, so we're not covering it. So I don't remember how to get back to it. But what it is... Oh, I think it might be just running out of the bathroom, like continuing to, like trying to escape and then continuing to try to escape. But what happens is, the dinosaur is secretly Stephanie somehow. And, basically she ends up banging your dad in front of you. Or maybe he's the dinosaur at that point. I can't remember. I can't remember if the dad becomes the dinosaur and he's actually banging Stephanie, like as human, or Stephanie is the dinosaur. We might go back to it at the end. Alright, so our next one is to look to the bathtub. We want our head and shoulders, and we want to keep them separate. And I think I did this one. But what I didn't do was to the soggy pubis option. I remember thinking that was hilarious, but I don't think I actually did it. So I rubbed my soggy pubis in its face. You lunge forward all of a sudden, utilizing all your knowledge of combat from the Discovery Channel, and it seems to work. The dinosaur's caught off guard, and you do rub that hair all over its stupid face. You bet your sister sent this Coelophysis. She's always hated you. She claims you ruined her wedding, which you don't remember doing. She claims that your father gave you a free apartment while she had to work for hers, and that's not even important. She's such a bitch. You swear after this dinosaur is done, she will pay. The dinosaur isn't done, though. It hisses at you, strikes with a long claw. You raise the shampoo bottle as a reflex. The claws gouge through the top as like most things through hot butter. But now there's more shampoo to use. As it leans in to shred your neck, you slop the Head & Shoulders Deluxe all over the dinosaur's face as if it were doing a Head & Shoulders advert for Pornhub. It struggles, it squeals with dino irritation. You grin with triumph. "Up yours," you say to the bewildered dinosaur as you shove your shampoo-covered fingers up the Coelophysis' nose. As you appreciate your own comedic wit, the dinosaur sniffs and snorts. It loses interest in you and struggles instead to get the thick shampoo out of its nose. You have space and time. You lunge for the door. Slam it behind you. You rush and get a chair, another chair, your sofa downstairs, and a lot of masking tape, and you barricade the door with all of it. Eventually you stop and listen. Naught but the silence comes from the bathroom. You lean in, press your ear to the door. And then it smashes into the door from the other side. Fear surges through you like a lightning strike. It scratches at the door, rams into it again, hisses through the door. You barricade the bathroom with more chairs, and then you leave it that way. Over the following days, you use the neighbor's bathroom if they'll let you, or steal their key when they're out. For emergencies, you acquire a cat litter box. Meanwhile, you stay inside, day after day after day, ignore the phone calls, and order mass takeout. It's the perfect system, you tell yourself. Now you never have to go in the bathroom again. Except one day, weeks later, your sister and father turn up at your door with a camera crew. They want footage to advertise the apartment for selling. You living there is a minor inconvenience for them. An expansive space once the detritus is removed, your father says to the camera, glancing at you as he says detritus. The expansive windows offer a marvelous view through the inner London and across the river. An apartment with high potential in the right hands. And then, as inevitable as death, your father turns to you in your pajamas with those ever-displeased eyes. "I didn't know you had a cat," father says, as you open your mouth to protest his presence. "I don't," you blurt out. "Then why do you have a litter box?" your sister says. As you stand frozen, caught in their verbal trap, father sees the barricaded bathroom, and then slowly, agonizingly, looks back to the litter box. Father turns to the litter box. You try to protest, but your father has a very stubborn streak. He leans down and pulls the top of the litter box off. Father gags. The camera crew gag. Your sister moans in revulsion. Your father reels back in horror from the feces and urine you have collected in the litter. He struggles for words. He struggles to say anything. He reaches out, he grabs your throat. He clutches at his chest with his other hand. He gasps for gas. He gasps for breath. He collapses. And of course, he collapses into your litter box and his face smears. His face smears through with your takeaway diet turds. Some, the doctor will later say, goes in his eyes. Your sister cries out in horror, hurls abuse at you as you try to pull your father's face from the litter, only to drop him back into it again. Your father's closed casket funeral is attended by hundreds of titans of the pasty industry, or so you hear. Your sister bars you from attending. As the beloved creator of the pasty company, your father's death causes the collapse in stocks across the industry. Several pasty companies go out of business, a shock that reverberates across the world. Of course you're blamed. A video of the incident is recorded by the cameras. Your sister leaks it across the internet. It goes viral. Not just of your litter box feces, not just of your dying father getting a cheeky mouthful, but also of the barely surviving dinosaur that the cameramen rescue from your bathroom. Quickly you become infamous, the parent killer, the would-be dinosaur murderer, the litter shitter. The dinosaur is taken away by the RSPCA. They promise you will be receiving a court summons for this. You're fired from your job, and your family publicly disown you. Stephanie's blocked your calls. Your life has become an impressive veil of humiliation. As you travel to the airport to flee to an Antarctic facility where cleaners are required, you're constantly barraged with screamed insults and looks of revulsion. At security, you get checked extra vigorously by the security staff. Children with dinosaur toys kick you. Eventually you arrive in the freezing confines of the Arctic facility where you're staying until the furor dies down. It feels too little too late, however. Your every thought, your every stroke of the mop against the cold facility floors feels like a humiliation in itself. And worse, you're starting to notice the glances of the researchers up here. Angry, spite-filled glances. Anger, you come to realize, is a very powerful thing. It turns reasonable people into racists and communities into armies and mobs, and it infects the upper and working classes alike. It was perhaps inevitable that the scientists up here would turn on you. After all, you found the last surviving dinosaur from a long-lost age and nearly caused its extinction again. Certain dinosaur lovers at the facility haven't taken that very well at all. Finally, one night, you're wrestled from your bed into the caretaker's quarters. You're sealed away in the facility's sewers to enjoy the leavings of the entire 100-strong staff, along with the occasional meal to keep you alive. Over the months and years, you're down there. Damn it, this is just like the first one, except it was real food. Well, they didn't say what kind of food this was. Over the months and years you're down there, the people above are kind enough to send you updates about the Coelophysis, which now has its own nature reserve, and young clones created by scientists to maintain the species. As they tell you this, they also announce that they're changing the facility's diet to be more curry-based, so for the rest of your life you have that to look forward to. Oh my god. Alright, what's next? Oh no. No, I actually read this one. This is the first one I found. This is the first one I found because I read the description. It's rough. It's really rough. So, I found out while I was doing this that the order of operations seems to matter. I found the last two by doing things in the opposite order. So we look to the bathtub, we look to the hairy bath hole, and we acquire the whole hair. Pluck the combination of sweat, water, and various classes of hair from the plug and sniff it. It's beautiful, really, its own secret way. What are you going to do with it now? You could look at the shampoos, the shower, you could watch the dinosaur gallivant around, or try eating this hairball in the hope of gaining superpowers, which is a dialogue option we did not get if we picked a hair product first. This is the only way, you muttered to yourself, eyeballing the lump of mashed up bath plug hair. I have to become stronger, and of course you're right. What other option is there but to eat a big soggy mesh of old hair and hope it completely rewrites your entire structure from the DNA up? What else could you do? At first, eating this soggy, foul-tasting hairball is a struggle, but then the process becomes agonizing. You choke as the hair blocks your throat while you wait in desperation for something to happen, but then The hairball in your throat continues to deprive you of air. What were you expecting? So what now? Do you reach into your own throat and try and pull the hairball out, or do you keep hoping, believing that Stan Lee up there in his golden throne will bestow superpowers upon you? We keep hoping for superpowers. You start to go blue from the lack of air, and an odd white flash starts to turn up in your eyes. That seems good. That seems unexpected and fun and superpowery. And as your vision darkens, you feel yourself collapse to the floor. You take solace in this. But then you awake again and you howl. For you are now Hairman, a stupendously hairy man with monkey-like powers of climbing. Like a free runner with far, far too much hair. And one too many tails. Your yowling causes the dinosaur to reel, surprised by your change in form, body, and mind. It's the brief hesitation is all you need. You lunge to the window, you smash through it. Your new muscles bulge with power as you land on the pavement far below. You yowl in triumph, pound your manly, hairy chest, and as you see the passers-by stare at your hairy yet still naked body, you get a little embarrassed as the passers-by take selfies with you as they wear confused, baffled expressions. You become something of a celebrity, your new hairy face plastered over the papers. It's not as nice as you might have imagined. Your hairy face is a curse. You can't go anywhere without a mask, and even then the people notice your hairy cheeks. Which cheeks? You can't even hide in the subpar hotel you now live in after your father evicted you from your apartment, disgusted with your new unemployable form. Everywhere you go, people gawk. You aren't allowed into expensive restaurants because of your excessive hair. You're not allowed anywhere. You start to realize why some celebrities go mad, not that you are one. The people forget about you after a month or so. There's a weird new celebrity in town, the Dinosaur, who your father does allow to live in your old apartment. Spend your days ordering pizza and watching football. There isn't enough football on. You get fat, bored, and lonely. You see the Coelophysis on TV doing interviews. It laughs at you. You really hate that dinosaur. You start to realize that the world does not really need people like you. There's no world-ending event for you to stop. There's nothing you can do that an Olympian climber couldn't. You can't even find a circus to join this. The world simply does not need superheroes. Thanos is not coming, nor is Brainiac. There's no greater purpose for Hairman, none at all. And so, ever more bored, you go ever more extreme in the search for excitement. Eventually, as that dinosaur chatters on your TV with David Attenborough in his new role as David's television heir, you perish in an autoerotic asphyxiation accident. The hotel staff finds you hanging by the neck from your own tail, which is looped around the light fixing above. Naturally, this is covered up by the government. Too many heroes have died this way. Santa, the man who invented sliced bread, the real James Bond, and of course, Britain's version of Batgirl, Pigeon Lass. Just like these great heroes, your funeral is sparsely attended and your existence is remembered only as a joke, a meme, a briefly lingering fart under the nose of society. I forgot about Santa. Oh my god. Alright, so we do the hairy bath hole first, and then, let's see. Okay, and then we do the conditioner. Oh, it's conditioner for both, actually. Secretly, you're proud of your amazing armory of hair products, perfectly customized for every layer and crevice of your body. One for leg hair, one for real hair, and one for beard. One for the southern hills, one for feet hair, and many more. An unstoppable Avengers-esque hair team. What is the obsession with Avengers? And it only takes a half an hour in the shower to apply it all. But which one of these men's can you use to fight a dinosaur? You quickly reduce the options down to your two favorites. Do you take your chest hair conditioner or your brand new Head & Shoulders Deluxe shampoo with gold flakes? Make your decision. So we take the conditioner. Right, now you can combine your hair conditioner with the hairball to make one super weapon, or you can keep the conditioner and hair separate and form two, yet still devastating weapons. Your growth and power reminds you of when you watched Dragon Ball Z as a child. You wonder if someone will make an anime about you when this is over. Maybe even a choice-based adventure with no budget and barely competent producer. We combine. This is where it diverges. You smear the conditioner and the hair into one greasy blob and raise it into the sky as if it were Simba. Or one brand new man thong with Simba's face on it. Okay, this is how you defeat the dinosaur. Why would you raise a man thong? This is how you defeat the dinosaur. This is your ticket to more of the chilled orange Fanta that is life. Are you ready to fight the dinosaur? Combine. No. Oh, you big silly, you only get a choice if I let you have one. Press the button and go fight the dinosaur. That's a good boy, girl, whatever you choose. You prepare your finest battle face and release the battle cry as mighty as a juvenile woodland deer being eaten by wolves. And then you lunge from the shower to face this Triassic period terror after fighting your way through the shower curtain. By the way, did you know that the Triassic period was over 200 million years ago? It followed a mass extinction where 95% of marine life died due to high carbon dioxide levels and is known as the period in which life outside the ocean began to flourish. There's also a time when Earth's continents were combined into one supercontinent, Pangaea. Enough wasting of time. You're lucky the dinosaur didn't attack you during that filler section. What will you do now? Shove the wad of conditioner-laced soggy hair into the dinosaur's face? Or do you use the wad as a shield to deflect the inevitable dinosaur attacks? Shield. You adopt a defensive position, the wad of hair as a shield against the dinosaur's attacks. After a moment, the Coelophysis struggles to turn to you, restricted in the cramped space but salivating, longing to wrap its teeth around your pork. It lunges at your throat. With no time to react, you raise the wad of hair in the Coelophysis' direction. The dinosaur's long nose slides off the hair. The attack is deflected aside. The dinosaur smashes headfirst into the floor-to-ceiling window nearby, which sometimes you like to stand by in order to show off your bounteous body to the office workers in the building opposite yours. The window cracks. The dinosaur falls through it. With the scream of a dinosaur falling out of a 15th-story window, the dinosaur drops from a 15th-story window. It vanishes from view, and then there's nothing. You stand in your room alone for a moment. The wind tickles your precious few hairs. A man gawks from an office window across the street, and you cover yourself with a towel and glare at him for his bad manners. When a woman moves over to the man and looks at your window, you drop the towel and get back to showering. Good choice. You struggle to comprehend these last few minutes. Was it a dream? Are you dreaming now? Are dinosaurs real? You struggle to make sense of it all as the water dribbles over your head. Is the dinosaur going to be splattered across the pavement far below, out of sight? When you get down to the lobby, you see nothing. People go about their business like a dinosaur did not plummet from your 15th floor apartment. Indeed, there's no crumpled dinosaur on the pavement. No blood, no impact, just glass covering the ground like icing and onlookers giving it a wide berth. As you stare numbly at the place where the dinosaur should have fallen, something grasps your shoulder. It's sharp, painful, inevitable. You don't want to turn around. You don't want to acknowledge the dinosaur. If you're gonna die, you'd rather not see it happen, but alas, you can feel the teeth on your ear. The flicking tongue. Wallet, the dinosaur says in a rasping feminine tone. You didn't realize that the dinosaur could speak, not that it matters. You fumble in your pocket and hand the wallet over your shoulder. It's ripped from your hands. In the revolving door reflection, you can see the small dinosaur shake as the money around, or your money pouch around in its teeth. Coins clatter to the floor as it empties the contents in a clear display of dominance. I don't understand, you say. It isn't your place to understand, the dinosaur replies. I'm your god now. You'll spread the word of my majesty and wait for my coming, for if you do not, you'll burn in the 17 rings of dinosaur hell. And with that, the dinosaur is gone, vanished into the ether, unnoticed by anyone else. You know what you saw, and you're not going to argue. You go back into the world with renewed, desperate purpose. On street corners, you preach the dinosaur's name. Hail dinosaur, you cry. And then you cry out, hail the dinosaur, in a slightly different tone, because at this point it's been 2 weeks since the dinosaur blessed you with his presence. And you've only written 3 pages of his Bible, and you're already out of ideas. No one really flocks to your cause. They all think you're weird for some reason, and so every day you return to your apartment empty-handed, where the dinosaur waits on a throne of your hair products. Every day when you admit your failure, the dinosaur cuts you. Soon people give you wide berths in the street when they see you. If only they would listen to your sermons. But she is a wise and just dinosaur, you scream at the pram-pushing mother who narrowly avoids traffic to flee from the power of your words. And the dinosaur loves all of man. She just requires your love, your will, your succulent flesh and bone. You continue giving the sermon in the asylum you're eventually confined to, where the patients also avoid you. You continue giving the sermon in your retirement home asylum when your limbs desert you and your carers stop giving you pills. At your funeral 6 months after the first dinosaur meeting. 6 months? Wow, that was fast. 6 months after the first dinosaur meeting, the priest, the Coelophysis from the Triassic period, will read out some of your holy words to your disappointed father, mother, and apathetic sister in the pews. Merkel's sausage has passed from our sight at 32 years of age. Maybe he be devoured eternally in dinosaur hell. Amen. Meanwhile, you scratch at the inside of your coffin, your cries unheard as you are buried beneath 12 feet of soil and rock. They know it's real! Why would they do that? But if the dinosaur is the preacher, they know it's real. All right, and this time we keep the hair and conditioner separate. Okay. My notes are bad here. This might not work. Swing in with conditioner. You lunge in for the attack, utilizing your bite-sized biceps to squirt the hair conditioner in the dinosaur's direction. It smears over the dinosaur's face. Enraged, it snaps back at you, and you raise the hair in defense. The Coelophysis' jaw lashes around your hand. Some of the shredding of your arm is mitigated by the wad of hair you hold. In that brief moment, you thank the Lord Almighty that your vigorous showering regimen pulls out more hair than a conventional regimen might. But your arm is still stuck in the dinosaur's mouth. One of the least best orifices to be stuck in, as we all know. What will you do? Smear conditioner into the eyes. Okay, that was the last thing my notes have. With your remaining arm, you swipe at the dinosaur's eyes. You scratch at its face as it forces you onto your knees. The dinosaur's strength is magnitudes greater than yours, which is a surprise because you went to that gym that one time. But you dig into your reserves, the little reserves that you have. With everything you have left, you try to reach for its face. With a conditioner-laced hand, you sink 2 fingers into the dinosaur's eye socket. The Coelophysis lets out a hissing cry of pain. It releases your badly gouged arm. Both of you fall back. As the dinosaur writhes in pain, you bump the wall next to the door. The dinosaur is quick to recover. You take a moment to realize you have an opportunity. As the dinosaur lunges for you, you lunge for the door and slam it shut behind you. 2 weeks later, you march from the court in annoyance. Your pubescent lawyer looks sheepish beside you. You simply cannot believe that the dinosaur has won your apartment from you. What an absolute farce. This is an endangered animal, Mr. Sausage, the judge said. You cannot just displace this dinosaur from its natural habitat. I live there, you yelled, the selfish person you are. The apartment is my natural habitat, not that thing's. Refer to the defendant as Mrs. Coelophysis, please, Mr. Sausage, the judge commanded. And if the dinosaur's natural habitat is not your apartment, then where is its natural habitat? As you strained for something like a coherent explanation, but there wasn't one. The dinosaur just turned up and made a nest in your living room. The day of the hearing, the dinosaur was sat in the defendant's seat with the big city lawyer it somehow managed to crowdfund the money for. In the back of the court, various onlookers cooed over the dinosaur's new babies and played with them, like the race traders they were. You remember all of this as you sit in the alleyway that is now your home. Your father signed over the apartment to the dinosaur. He had apparently been waiting for an excuse. So you sit next to a skip with an awful stench, and you curse the moron who wrote your life, and brood on the dinosaur which is now feeding a family in your apartment, with the best food Steven Spielberg could buy. And you swear you will have your revenge. As you keep swearing revenge for the remainder of your homeless days until black marketeers harvest your organs. And that is all the endings except for the final one. Sorry, I've been talking for nearly an hour straight. I had to go get some water. Alright, the true ending. Here we go. Yes, 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 you mutter as you successfully aim your urine into the toilet with one hand. What? Okay, this is the same as the other one. But what's this? The bathroom door, which you've always left unlocked in hopes of surprise sexy times with ladies, swings open. You start, and then you stop dead. You've been here before, you realize. You know... That's new music. You know there's a monster at the door, and you know it isn't Stephanie. The realization loosens your grip on your sloppy slinky. Your urine splattered your trouser and boxers, and your phone, drop 2, splatters to the floor. That feels inconsequential with the scale of the reality falling on your head. Maybe this is why babies soil themselves, you briefly wonder. Maybe they're overwhelmed by the colossal, incalculable nature of their reality, just like you. You've been here before, you've been here before, you've been here before, and that thought rattles through your head like a pinball as you turn to see the inevitable, the Coelophysis, a dinosaur from the Triassic period, poking its head into your bathroom. The Coelophysis does nothing but stare at you for now. Perhaps because it's as embarrassed as you are. Or perhaps because it understands whatever's happening here. You killed me, you say? To this the Coelophysis doesn't respond. It simply stares at you with those beady eyes, but you know far too well. The dinosaur has killed you many times. You see the flashes of it all. You remember the rage, the violence, we made love, you say, to which the dinosaur hisses. To be fair, the dinosaur has a point. That timeline left everyone feeling dirty. I know. But they're not the only bad memories. You remember the dozens of particular ways in which this dinosaur brought your life to ruin. You remember the court case and the organ harvesting. You remember the cock clipper. You remember the people spitting in your face after the explosion. You got numerous eye infections in the hospital before you died. Why did you do this? You blurt out in pain, rage, and fear. The Coelophysis has no answer. It just stares, so you blurt onwards. You tore me apart. You ate my lungs. You made me kill my dad. You stole my life. You and Stephanie had sex in front of me while I was dying. Okay, so the dad was the dinosaur in that timeline. It's weird that they mentioned that. The dinosaur looks confused now, because, to be fair, that Stephanie dinosaur sex bit was just a delusion in your head while bleeding to death on the stairs. You remember it, but you're in no mood to correct it. The dinosaur would probably do that anyway in a different timeline. Okay, I didn't realize that. You tortured me. You sent fanatics after me. Why? You scream, why? Once again, the dinosaur has no answer, and your outrage has no outlet. Silence falls. Your thoughts take over. Your mind sets itself to this puzzle. You think about all those horrible stories, all your curses, all that torment, all the humiliation. Finally, you have an idea. You say before you hesitate, before you then plunge onward through the mental fog anyway. I've learned something. I've grown. The dinosaur does nothing, but you tap your finger in the air. You got it. This was all a lesson. A growing experience, like when you got hit by a bus that time, nearly died, and learned to look both ways before crossing the road at your university. But what did you learn? Honestly, I think this guy really needs to rethink his life. I'm gonna leave here and live life to the fullest, you say to the dinosaur. I know now that I'm not perfect. I know now that I need to rethink my life, and I know that the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park weren't real, and I should stop visiting that site that claims they were. Wait, was that all 4 options? The only other one I really looked at was the dinosaur one. It was the Jurassic Park one. You stand up straight and pull your trousers and boxers up. You remember now that they're covered in spare urine, but maintain your composure nonetheless. I've learned to be better, you say to the Coelophysis from the Triassic period, and I will be better. To that, the dinosaur says nothing. You could swear it gives you a small nod. It did. Yes, it did. At peace with your newfound resolution, you walk toward the open door, and naturally the dinosaur rips your leg away. You scream as you fall, partly because of the shock, and partly because you cannot believe the Coelophysis has done this.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Again. Especially after all the growing you've done. Alas, Merkel, you really think you've grown, don't you? Or maybe you just think you've suffered enough, and so have embraced the delusion that you have changed. But I've changed, you cry desperately at the Coelophysis as it rips the stump of your leg. But here's the problem. Firstly, the dinosaur owns your leg now because finders keepers. Secondly, you haven't changed. If the dinosaur let you leave here now, you would go back to doing exactly what you did before. I know it, you know it, and no amount of vague proclamations will change that. This is why when you say, I'm a better person now, while you, or rather Merkel, bleeds out against the door. Oh, fourth wall. The dinosaur does not bandage up his leg. It's also why when his heart stops, the dinosaur will not administer CPR or call an ambulance, although admittedly it would struggle at all those things. I'm a better man now. I know I've made mistakes, Merkel cries again, although his cries are weaker now. I spelled door wrong once. I called my teacher Mom. It's just all so predictable. See, Merkel doesn't know what his mistakes are. His true mistakes, I mean. And you can make choices for him all you want. You can scour the barren lens of this game for a way out of this mess, but it isn't you who decides if Merkel escapes. It's Merkel. And, as ever, he's incapable. So on we go. Will Merkel ever escape? Maybe he'll escape now. He's trying to crawl to the phone. Maybe he's finally figured out what he has to do. He just needs to reach it and find the app he needs, and then, just kidding, he's fucked again. The Coelophysis turns on him, kicks the phone away just out of reach. Merkel tries one last protest. I love you, you dinosaur creature thing, you. Please, we can just go home. I won't ever think about Stephanie in bed again. The Coelophysis stares at Merkel with wide, furious eyes. It occurs to Merkel now that this was the wrong thing to say. You can see that he's learned something, but he'll forget it soon enough. And so the Coelophysis picks him apart, bite by bite, limb by limb once again. Once again, Merkel dies with urine in his pants and despair in his blackened heart. It's just so entertaining to watch him squirm. This is a text-based adventure. We can't see anything, dummy. Then use your imagination, you smartass. Anyway, he might escape one day, you know? Maybe he'll escape the movie of the game, or the AAA sequel. People usually escape the Groundhog Day story. Bill Murray escaped, that girl in Happy Death Day escaped, and plenty more, I'm sure. But then they learned. Anyway, back to it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Alright, let's see if we make a difference by choosing different ones. Hang on. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that is the same. Alright, let's see what changes with this. It's so entertaining to watch him squirm. This is wrong. You think so? You think that Merkel doesn't deserve it? You think you know him? Because you discovered some vapid, meaningless element of his character? Besides, the little endeavor isn't for you. It's for me, so there. Anyway. And then the rest of it's the same. Okay. And let's see what that last one is. Alright. Haha, yeah. Oh! Okay, I think that one's broken. So we'll come back to that. But anyway, that is all of the good endings and the final ending. It took a while, but we did it. Let me see if I can run through... Let me see if I can get the horrible ending real quick. Alright, we run for the door. You can say that this choice was a shockingly poor one, but in reality, you knew this the moment you decided on the plan deep down. It's another in a long line of dense decisions. Another mediocre plan with an unsurprising outcome, like one of those cunning japes where you get a bit drunk and shout, "The bride's pregnant with my baby!" No, seriously, it's your sister's wedding. As it is, you stumble toward the bath. That is another thing I like about this. You find tidbits of one story in another story branch. It's really cool, because in one he says he doesn't remember ruining his sister's wedding, but here you find out exactly how he ruined his sister's wedding. As it is, you stumble toward the bathroom exit like a toddler trying to fight their way out of a onesie, waddling pitifully, your trousers and boxers around your ankle. It is now that you remember your father's laughter as he sat watching you fall down the stairs. The onesie was tangled around your ankles back then. Even now your father laughs about it. You'll have the last laugh, though, when he realizes you can't afford to get him a good retirement home. The coelophysis and its razor-sharp teeth snap you back to reality. They rip into your leg as you stumble past and tear your leg away from you, like a banana made of skin and hair and blood and bone, and with a foot at the end. You fall and hit the ground, coincidentally, like a bunch of screaming bananas. You cry out in agony and horror as the coelophysis chows on your leg. Blood spurts from your ragged stump like an IKEA fountain. Should you seek revenge on the dinosaur for its unprovoked attack? Maybe it's better to just make peace with the inevitable. Though you are next to the door, escape is a matter of feet away. Attempt one last escape. Somehow in the carnage, the door was knocked shut. You slip and slide in your struggle toward the door, inch by bloody inch. You hear the dinosaur chewing on your leg behind you, and you know you have mere moments till he notices you straining to reach for the door handle. How long do you have till you run out of blood? You reach up with one hand and your fingers slip on the handle. It clunks back into position. It's loud. The crunching sounds behind you stop. You glance over your shoulder. The coelophysis stares at you, its jaws dripping with your blood. You reach one last time. Your hands try to find some grip, any grip, on the bloody door handle. The coelophysis hisses and lunges. You throw the door open into the dinosaur's face. It reels and slips on the blood. You seize the opportunity, heave yourself into the hallway. You pull the door shut behind you. Is it closed entirely? No time to check. Your vision blurs, your strength is failing. You claw at the carpet, hauling yourself towards the stairs. Foot by bloody foot, your energy goes into getting yourself out. You get to the stairs. In one final exertion, you throw yourself downward. When you wake, you can barely open your mouth, barely gasp for breath. Is this heaven? If it is, it's too bright and garish and you hate it. Maybe this is cheap heaven, where the harps are out of tune and the clouds are seeded with government chemicals. But no, you open your eyes and it's just a simple hospital. It has a hospital ceiling and everything. Merkel? A soft voice asks. You remember that Merkel is in fact your name. It's a stupid name, but if you were to change it, your mother would stop sending money. Merkel? The voice asks again. There's a quiet desperation in her words. You turn your head with effort. There, a little older and even more beautiful, is Stephanie, your ex, your betrayer, the girl you love more than anything. She sits bedside, all ginger hair and green eyes, and watches you in amazement. I thought I'd lost you, she whispers. I thought... She leans in and presses her lips fiercely to yours. Feel her glitter green fingernails dig in as she holds you. Feels as though she'll never let go again. You're delighted, then horny, then terrified. Is this even real? It is. It isn't, is it? You're just bleeding to death on your staircase or in an ambulance or something. This isn't real. Yes, you realize this is real. Everything about her is as you remember. You smell her perfume. It smells like nature. You can taste her breath. It's so exotic, unique. Eventually she parts with you and sits up, breathless. Gaze at her now. You're unable to speak. At first you think it's because you've been out for days on the edge of life. Then you realize you're just looking at her, taking her in, falling into an even deeper love than you thought possible. I can't remember which one of these leads to the horribleness. Confess my undying love. There it is. Stephanie! A voice booms. You recognize it immediately. You and Stephanie both turn to the door. There stands your father, who seems to have transformed to look just like the Seal of Physis. Okay, it was Dad that was the Seal of Physis. I think the other one might have been where Stephanie becomes the Seal of Physis. There stands your father. Oh, sorry. His claws tap on the floor in fury. Odd, you think. You didn't know that Stephanie and your father had met. Father clicks over to Stephanie and glares at you. He doesn't deserve your love, Stephanie. He's pathetic, he is boring. You said so yourself. He can't even afford his own apartment. Oh, that's where the hot glue gun is. Once I caught him eating pizza, the dog licked the cheese off of. He's an embarrassment. With sickening despair, you remember the breakup note Stephanie left you. Next to the unfinished sausage and mash you had cooked her as a Valentine's Day present. As you look at her, you can see she remembers it all too. You open your mouth to protest. Yeah, Stephanie says to you, you are pathetic. I need a man. A real exciting man. And she turns to your father, the dinosaur from the Triassic period, and they lock eyes. Sparks fly between them, awful nightmarish bolts of lust. Stephanie's hand strokes your father's reptilian taut chest. Are you a naughty girl, Stephanie? Father asks, as Stephanie bites and licks her lips. You can do nothing but watch as your father and Stephanie collide, snog with primordial fury, hands and claws all over each other. Yes, Merkel's father, touch me there. Stephanie, the love of your life, gasps. Merkel would never touch me there. She moans as she wraps her legs around your father, the dinosaur, and several of your worst fears are realized at once. They collapse to the floor of the hospital as you watch and scream for a nurse, a doctor, a nutritionist, anyone. Thankfully, this is all a delusion, a product of your collapsing mind as you die broken and empty of blood at the bottom of your own staircase. So all the good endings, and one bad one. One awful one. One horrible one. Good God. Oh, good God. That was both hilarious and mind-shattering. Especially that last one. But anyway, until the next video, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around. Bye.